Hello students, this is Waqar Ahmed, your economics teacher from Cambridge International School, the SUA. And in these online classes, yesterday we revisited the concepts of the objectives of government budget. And in the same manner, today I will again be discussing the topic budgetary deficit or budget deficit. So, the methodology will remain same. All the points which you will see on your screen, you have already written them on your notes, that is what I am expecting, and if you have not, then you need to hurry, because tomorrow onwards we shall be starting something new. So, let us come back to the deficit. We all know that whatever is the size of an economic or business entity, whether it is an individual, a firm, an organization or a government, the situation of deficit arises when the expenditure of that entity are far greater or more than the income of that entity. So, it gives rise to deficit. Similarly, in case of government budget, deficit arises when government revenue or government income is less and government's expenditure, because of different causes, that is, or those causes are particular for particular economies, but expenditure is greater than income of the government, and that is basically budgetary deficit. Or we can say, if we need to define it, that excess of total expenditure over total receipt of the government is known as budget deficit. Now, this government budget can further be classified, if you wish to go into details, into two types. First, any government will have a balanced budget or unbalanced budget. In case government has got balanced budget, then the receipts of the government will always be equal to its expenditure. Now, this is a balanced budget. But what if the budget is unbalanced? That gave rise to two possibilities here. First, either this unbalanced budget will be a surplus budget or a deficit budget. And when the budget will be surplus, simple, when the government revenues are more or government income is greater than government expenditure. In this situation, the budget will be a surplus budget. Vice versa, if government expenditure is greater than government income, then the budget will be a deficit budget. So, now we can construct all that into two simple things. Government budget is a balanced budget, revenue or income is equal to expenditure. Second point, government budget is unbalanced budget, and in this unbalanced budget, A, surplus budget when income is greater than expenditure, B, deficit budget, expenditure is greater than income. And now further we will be exploring this third possibility, which is deficit budget or budget deficit. Now, the first part of budget deficit is revenue deficit, and revenue deficit refers to the situation when revenue expenditure of the government is greater than revenue receipt of the government. So, first we need to understand what is revenue expenditure. It refers to that expenditure of the government which neither create asset, although government is spending something, nor reduces liability of the government. This is a recurring expenditure, this is a regular expenditure, and generally government incurs this expenditure on normal functioning of the government or to maintain law and order situation in a country. So, all that expenditure on police, on defense, on administration, on different government departments, on different government ministries, whatever the government is spending, that is revenue expenditure of the government. And what is revenue receipt? It refers to that receipt of the government which neither creates liability nor reduces assets of the government. For example, tax receipts and non-tax receipts, although tax receipts are the biggest or dominant part of revenue receipt of a government. So, what situation arises is, or what are the implications of revenue deficit are that you need to keep two things in mind. Revenue expenditure is greater, means government is spending too much money on the functioning, on the salaries, pension, defense, ministers, officers, all that money which is being spent to maintain the situation, or which is being spent to maintain the situation of law and order in an economy, is far greater than what is government receiving through tax revenue. So, if there is revenue deficit in an economy, it clearly shows that the government is not working properly, that there is corruption, that too much money is being spent on ministers and all other sundry expenses, which bears or which provides no direct economic benefit to a country. So, revenue deficit clearly shows a weak government, a government which spends too much on its own rather than spending on its people. First thing. Second thing, revenue deficit clearly shows that the tax structure or tax policy of the government is not up to the mark. The tax efficiency or the collection in taxes is not very efficient, or and government need to increase the rate of taxes because government need to increase revenue receipt, or if because generally governments are populist in nature, they do not want to go against people to impose new taxes. This is the best possible way for a government to increase its revenue receipt, that government should slowly marginally increase the rate of taxes, first thing. And what else government can do? Government should include more and more goods and services into tax net, means new goods, new services which are tax free should be bring into the net of taxes, they should be taxed. These are the two possible alternatives with the government through which it can increase tax revenue, which will increase revenue receipt and which can decrease the gap of revenue deficit. Now, the second deficit of government budget is fiscal deficit, and basically it is the main deficit about which every government talks, every government publishes, and means this is the main parameter of measuring the government deficit. So, that is fiscal deficit. And what is fiscal deficit? It is the difference between the government's total expenditure and total receipts excluding borrowing. Means we can write it like gross fiscal deficit is equal to total expenditure minus total receipts or revenue receipts, because receipts include revenue plus capital. So, revenue receipts plus non debt creating capital receipts. So, basically fiscal deficit is always equal to the borrowing requirement of a government for the current economic year, and this is the easiest way of remembering fiscal deficit, that fiscal deficit is equal to the borrowing requirement of the government. Now, if fiscal deficit is equal to the total borrowing requirements of the government, then how will government finance its borrowings? Means what are the sources from which a government can borrow? Generally, these sources can be classified or categorized into three different parts. First, government can borrow from the domestic public, commercial banks, financial institutions, through government bonds or through T-bills. Generally, you must have heard about T-bills in accountancy as well. T-bills are treasury bills. So, government can borrow from at domestic level through T-bills. That is the first source. Second source of borrowing of government is that government can borrow from RBI, means its central bank. And the third and the most important source of borrowings that government can borrow from abroad. Now, what includes this abroad? This includes various sources. First, government can borrow from international financial institutions like IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, or other financial institutions of repute. Then government can borrow from other central banks, means central banks of other countries like Federal Reserve, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, And third, government can borrow from private financial institutions of international repute, means the big banks of the world, the big financial institutions of the world. Government, if need arises, although government avoids this last source, but this is also a source of borrowing from abroad, that if need arises or if a government is in dire state, means it need to borrow from wherever source it can borrow, then these international financial institutions or international private banks can also be accessed by government. So, these are the three sources of borrowing of government. Government can borrow at home through T-bills, government can borrow from RBI, and government can borrow from abroad. Now, as far as implications of fiscal deficit are considered, I would like to draw your attention to 3 points. First, the first and foremost indicator to check the health of an economy is fiscal deficit to GDP ratio. So, if fiscal deficit is continuously increasing, it clearly shows that government is borrowing regularly in large quantity to fulfill its obligations, meaning government's health is not okay, and there is definitely some lacuna, there is definitely some corruption which is happening in that government, and the money being borrowed by government is not being put to use for productive purposes. And second implication, as you can see on your screen, revenue deficit is a part of fiscal deficit. So, if the share of revenue deficit in fiscal deficit is greater, then it clearly shows that government is spending too much money on its functioning, on fulfilling the obligations of current time period. Too much money is being spent on salaries, on pension, on other populist work, which is not resulting in something productive. So, this is the second implication, which clearly shows that government is at fault. And now, the third implication, which you will get to know if you have studied your books after listening to the earlier video, there is a question which kind of arises, that this fiscal deficit is inflationary or not. So, we all know that inflation happens when money supply increases as compared to supply of goods and services. Now, there are both possibilities. Fiscal deficit can be inflationary and fiscal deficit cannot be inflationary. Now, first A part. Fiscal deficit is inflationary in nature if the money which government is borrowing is spent to fulfill the current obligations, is spent on salaries, on foreign tours, on pension, on other populist work, which is not resulting in any capital formation. So, if this is happening, then fiscal deficit is definitely inflationary in nature. And second possibility, fiscal deficit is not inflationary in nature when the government uses its borrowings to create new productive avenues, new capital formation is happening in the government, new jobs are being created by the government. If this is the case, then fiscal deficit or directly borrowing is not inflationary in nature. So, we can say that fiscal deficit is inflationary and fiscal deficit is also not inflationary. It all depends on the end use of the borrowing which is being done by the government. So, the last type of government deficit is primary deficit, which is basically the difference between fiscal deficit and interest payment. So, in simpler terms, you need to remember primary deficit is the basic borrowing requirement of the current year. For example, if government is borrowing 240 crore rupees in the current year, and out of that current borrowing requirements are 200 crore plus 40 crore is the interest payment which government need to make for the borrowings it had done earlier. Means earlier government borrowed something and in current year government need to pay 40 crore as interest. So, the total borrowing requirement will become 200, which is for the current year, plus 40, which is for the earlier borrowings. So, fiscal deficit or borrowing requirement will be 240, but if we break this borrowing into two parts, then the first part 200 crore current year borrowing, that is primary deficit, plus 40 crore which is net interest liability of the government. So, basically you need to remember primary deficit like this, that primary deficit is the current year's borrowing requirement of the government, and fiscal deficit is the total borrowing requirement, which includes current year's borrowing requirement plus interest liabilities on the borrowings done earlier by the government. So, the implication of primary deficit is basically to know that how much is the government spending more than its income in the current period. If government is spending more, then current borrowing requirement or primary deficit will be more, and if government is spending less than income, then there will generally be no borrowing requirement for the current period. So, if there is no borrowing requirement for the current period and still government borrows something, it clearly shows that government is going on right track, government is doing okay now, but the borrowings done earlier are need to be repaid and government need to borrow for those borrowing requirements which were done earlier by the government. So, 0 generally or no primary deficit indicates that government is borrowing just because of past imbalances, and now the government economic health is okay and government is going on the right track. So, this was all about budgetary deficit, and I think that is it for today. Tomorrow, after the revision of the doubts raised by some students, now I shall or we shall be starting chapter number 11, which is foreign exchange, which is a very popular term and everybody knows what foreign exchange is. We will be exploring its implications, its uses, its effect on the economy, and how this rate of foreign currency is fixed in international market. How do we come to know that $1 is equal to 70 rupees, 1 Canadian dollar is equal to 55 rupees, and why does daily fluctuation happens in foreign exchange market? All that will be discussed in chapter number 11, and till then stay healthy, stay inside, bye.